A beautiful morning to you. Welcome to Everyday Money Matters on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. It's a beautiful Wednesday, the 17th of October of February. The year is 2021. And Money Matters, Everyday Money Matters is brought to you and sponsored by Nairametrics, the former source for financial literacy, financial content, and financial news in Nigeria. And I am not here alone. Of course, I am supported and shall I say fortified by the money team. And I'm talking about none other than the money man himself, the finance man, and also the money lady. Talking about the team from Nairametrics. Good morning, Olumide, Ugodre, and I don't know if I have Lawretta here this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Adu. You're looking good this morning. Yeah.
I'm looking good, right? I'm trying to be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when you're talking to money men, you have to look like money.
Yeah.
Mr. Adu.
Is Ugodre there? Good morning, Ugodre.
Mr. Adu.
Hello?
Mr. Adu. Mr.
Can you
Adu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing, boss? How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. I'm doing awesome. Good to have you here.
Yeah, same
Also,
here.
Loretta is in the building. Hello, Loretta. Can you hear me?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Loretta. Good to have you here. So, like I said, once again, this is Everyday Money Matters brought to you and sponsored by Nairametrics. And remember, Nairametrics is your foremost source of financial literacy content and also news, financial news in Nigeria. So make sure you always check them out. Now, we always like to make the show interactive as always, and we have you sending your questions to our WhatsApp. That's 0809-234-5913, or directly to the Nairametrics team. We have some questions already, and so I'm just going to start with them. Now, you can send in your questions in the course of the show, and then we'll begin to answer them as the show goes ahead. So Olumide, Ugodre, and Loretta, we have a couple of questions here that span from, shall I say, a wide variety of areas. So I'll start from the very first here, because this person is not a Nigerian, but they want to do things in Nigeria. So the question goes, I am a Cameroonian. How can I buy penny stocks in Nigeria?
Okay. First of all, the same narrative is that for you to open such account, you must have at least your residence permit. Being a foreigner, you must have your papers showing that you are residing legally in the country. Having that, you can just go to any of the top investment banks online or through their customer care services and make direct inquiries. It's so simple and so direct. I don't think it will take him 3 4 hours if he has those papers. What just really is of major concern is that he must show legality in his documents. That's all.
Okay. So once he can show legality, he's good to go.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. So let's get into another question here. This one is as Nigeria inflation hits 16.47%, what's the outlook for interest rate?
Okay, when inflation rises, ideally interest rates should go down. However, it does not always translate in the same manner. So we can't say because inflation is at the highest it has been in 3 years that interest rates will also become, zero or something. So it's ideally supposed to go down, and it might still further reduce a little bit, but it does not always apply in that manner. Yeah.
So
Okay,
inflation does affect outlook for interest, right?
Yeah, Olumide, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to, usually when inflation rates go up, there are a lot of variables that is involved. And don't forget that we are coming from a COVID-19 induced era where unprecedented amount of capital is in the market right now. So we don't see that as a surprise. Though what is really scaring investment analysts now is that the fact it has risen from 15.75 to 16.47 in just 30 days, and the fact that core food inflation, food inflation is about 20.57, it's now raising worries. But I think the futuristic thing is that now is the time for the Apex Bank to now consider tightening market liquidity. That's thereby increasing rates. So I see that an increase in rates will come at least in the next 2 quarters. Though it's looking like the economy is growing steadily. If you look at our cash flows coming in terms of crude oil and other metrics, I see the Apex Bank will start tightening at one point. So I'm seeing interest rates coming up very soon.
Okay. So here's another
Sorry,
question.
sorry, Ado, let me chime in on this one. I don't know. I kind of have a different view though. I mean, I hear Lawretta and Olumide, but you see, what for the listeners, you need to understand why inflation rate is going up and how it affects interest rate. So the CBN would increase interest rates if it thinks that there's a lot of money in the system. Okay, that there's money supply. So it uses monetary policy to increase interest rates so that could curb inflation. So see it this way: if you think that there's a lot of money in circulation, and because there's a lot of money in circulation, that is why inflation is going up. What the CBN does, or what most Apex banks do, is they raise interest rates. So when they raise interest rate, it becomes more difficult for you and I to borrow. So because it becomes more difficult for you and I to borrow, we can't really spend that much, right, Adu? And then you have to save more money. So you're now encouraged to save more. So when you're encouraged to save more, it takes money out of the economy, and then interest rate falls. Now, but that's not the issue with Nigeria today. So the problem of interest rates with Nigeria today is mostly supply driven. So there's food inflation is up because of transportation issues, logistic issues, herdsmen crisis, weather related issues, COVID-19 affecting ability to move food across borders. Even the border closure was a major factor driving up inflation rate. So a lot of things that are actually beyond the control of the CBN. And let's also remember that there has been devaluation of the exchange rate, right? So The exchange rate has gone from 360 to 380. Now it's 400. It's gone to 410. Okay, then in the black market is at 470, 480. So these things all add up. And also fuel price has also gone up. Okay, it's now about 160 something and heading towards 200 according to some people. So when you add these things up together, that's what drives inflation rate. And then one last thing as well, electricity prices. I'm sure it's not the same amount you pay that you used to pay last year, right? It's gone up. Exactly. So these are all the things that are now feeding into the consumer price index, and that is why you're seeing inflation rate go up. So to be honest, there's really nothing much that the CBN can do. So it's really not about interest. Interest rates are actually low, even though we notice CBN has been increasing it lately. But if you raise interest rate all you can, it's not going to have a huge effect on the direction of inflation rate.
Okay, so in the same breath, Ugodre, there's a question here from someone who's saying, I'm hearing that fixed income rates are getting higher. And how can this be so? The person's asking, when the MPR is still being maintained. It says, please, what is the correlation?
Yeah, so just to put some color to that, fixed income rates are getting higher, and that's for a different reason. What we noticed is that, and when the person says fixed income rate, he or she is alluding to treasury bills rates and OMO bills. And when you say getting higher, TB rates moved to 4% from about 2% or so last week, and that kind of shocked a lot of people. And then when you dig deeper, you find out that it's probably for a different reason. CBN appears to be going after foreign investors and trying to allow them keep their money in here. From what we gather, a lot of the investments that occurred last year is maturing this year. So as they are maturing, what do you want to do? Do you want to encourage foreign investors to roll over their investments, or do you want them to pull that money out? Now, when they decide to pull that money out, that has a negative effect on the dollar reserves that we have, because it then means that the CBN needs to find money for them so that they can pull it out. So the best thing to do is maybe to, raise that interest rate a little bit for them and make Nigeria a bit more interesting or, attractive for investments, or you maybe keep on devaluing your exchange rate. So that's really what's going on. That's why you're seeing fixed income rate go up.
Oh, okay, that's really nice. I like the way you put it. Make the Nigeria more interesting by controlling interest rates. Anyway, another person here is asking a question. It says, "Hello, money team. Is this the best time to buy bonds? If yes, why? If no, could you please kindly explain?"
Well, best time could be best time in the last couple of weeks or best time in the last couple of years. As we've already said, ordinarily fixed income investments have been falling since last year to just this recent increase where treasury bills and which other one did you mention? Open market operations. I can't remember, but yeah, just recently when this was increased, so they are still predominantly low. If you are trying to use that to guard, your the value of your income from significantly depreciating against our high inflation rates, then fixed income will probably not help you because fixed income are at single digits now and inflation is at 16 point something percent. So it depends on your objective for investing in bond. If it's just to save your money so that you don't keep it under your bed and you don't have to lose so much from it, that's fine. But at the end of the day, the value of bonds are still too low for me to say, if you really want to earn or preserve the value of your money, to go into bonds. Yeah.
Thank you, Lawretta. One more question here. This is similar, but this person is asking, it says, what is the best way to maintain the value of my monthly Naira savings from my salary? So this all ties up to, going up, and maybe the person is saving, assuming 50,000 Naira monthly. What can a person do to maintain that same value in their savings?
Times are really hard right now, to be honest. With inflation this high, it means that the value of your money, in respect to whatever you're purchasing in the markets, is lower. So you are constantly losing money unless you're investing in something that is yielding higher than that inflation rate in the first place. So I don't know if there are high risk investments you can take at this point, but one thing I can say is first, liquidity is key. So you don't want to take risks so much that you eventually lose out on all your money, but you might need to be a little daring with your investments for you to preserve any form of value because inflation rate is high.
All right, thank you very much. Now, in case you're just joining us, this is Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. This is Everyday Money Matters, brought to you in partnership and sponsored by Nairametrics. Now, just in case you didn't know, Nairametrics is your foremost financial hub, for literacy content, news content, and the rest of it in Nigeria. And the good news is Nairametrics also has a YouTube channel where you can go on to catch up on recorded conversations like this one that we've had on this show and other seminars that they do facilitate, so you can watch them. All right, you can watch the video of this particular show on YouTube, and you can subscribe, you can share, you can watch it again. So if there was a question they answered that you probably did not hear, maybe because I was speaking too fast or they were talking too fast, and you want to catch it all over again, you can go ahead and do that on YouTube. So head over to YouTube and search for Nairametrics, find the channel, watch any of the shows you want to watch, and voila, you get to relive it all over and over and over again. And also do make sure you visit nairametrics.com, because some of the questions that are not answered here probably have been written in an article or have been answered in some forum there in the chat room. So hey, take advantage of it, and I'm sure you really enjoy having that experience. Okay, so let's head on back to some of the questions. Olumide, this one is kind of one that you'll be as your forte. This person is asking about cryptocurrency. Says, good morning, sir. Please, what means can I buy cryptocurrency without offending the CBN?
Interesting question, but the narrative has been the same. It's a peer-to-peer. That's basically transacting with crypto assets without using your local currency. That's the Naira. And that's what's really been happening in the past 9 days now. You could see that more Nigerians are going on the peer-to-peer platform. So the narrative is that instead of you getting your money cash directly, you need to go through a third party. So basically, I could exchange Bitcoin with you, Adu, and get my local currency through other means. So the narrative is still the same, peer-to-peer, basically.
Oh, wow. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, maybe there might be a rethink in the future. Hopefully, this one is from another individual, also asking about some form of regulation. I think Ugodre might be in the best position to answer this. It says, any idea why the CBN put the $100 monthly limit on Nigerian cards, and really, what is the benefit of the remittance policy? Because this person says, I don't see it working. Ugodre, do you want to chime in on that?
Where have you been? Why are you asking? Why does it limit? Where have you been? So, I mean, whenever you have exchange rate challenges, there would always be a curb on demand of dollars. So this is basically demand side management. There is $100 limit for your card because there's just not enough dollar out there. There's not enough dollar out there to go around. So that's why the CBN has placed a limit to how much you can spend on your debit card. The CBN will say they are not the one who placed that limit. That it is the banks that did it, right? Because the banks are the ones that placed, a $100 limit. So, but then we all know where that is coming from. So that is why it is happening. What was the second question again?
It says, and what is the benefit of the remittance policy?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. All the government is saying is that whenever somebody, your brother, your dad, your uncle, your friend, family, anyone sends you money from abroad, you should be paid in dollars here and not in naira. Because normally what happens is that when you go to the bank or when you go to your money remittance company to pick it up, they pay you in naira. So they're saying, no, pay Adu in dollars. So when they pay you in dollars, the advantage is that you can now take that dollar and go and buy, you can go and exchange it for naira at your own whatever rate that you want. So, because I think what they suspect is that when they pay you in naira, they pay you at the official rate of, let's say, 390 something or 400, right? And then they now go and exchange it at 470 or 475, right? And then make a huge spread on your money. So, but when they pay you in dollars, the assumption is that you're going to now go and, exchange it for naira at your own price. And then that also increases liquidity in the system. That means there's a lot more dollars. So if all of us get dollars from our family and friends abroad and we go to the market to exchange it, then that means that, there's a lot of dollar in the market, and then exchange rate might strengthen. So that's basically, I don't know, maybe that's the advantage. But that's why that's the story behind remittances.
But this explanation you gave, Ugodre, is kind of interesting, because the black market guys, hopefully, anyway, I hope they get to remit their dollars to the CBN, because if they are getting it and hoarding it and probably selling it back to people who need it, the CBN may not really be getting the outcome it desires. Anyway, thanks for that eye-opening conversation there. Now, this person is asking a very, should I say, salient question that a lot of middle income earning people will be asking when it comes to property. And I think, Lawretta, you might be able to chime in here. It says, do you think it's wise to get a mortgage in Nigeria to build my own home?
Oh, yes. Well, personally, I think it's a good idea. The challenge had always been that we had very few mortgage companies. The few that we probably had earlier closed, due to probably unstructured systems or whatever. But the issue is we've always had, we don't ordinarily need to be paying for real estate out of pocket. So mortgage has always been a better option, and it's something that's practiced abroad, a lot. what I can say is in Nigeria, if you can find a company that has a good system, like you're getting a good deal, not the one that the interest rates, what you're going to be paying outside the par value of the real estate will be significantly high, that it's absurd. If you can get a good deal and you can get a good organization to provide such services for you, then sure, yes.
That condition, Lawretta, that you said if is a very big if for because the reality is many of the real estate agents you hear, they tell you pay X amount down payment and pay the rest in 12 months. And you ask yourself, do you know how long I saved to get the down payment?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it's true. These are some of the realities we have to face here. Anyway, let's get into another question here. This person is asking a little bit of a personal finance question and says, what is the best way to ask for a raise in my place of work? Olumide, you want to respond to that?
Basically, there are so many metrics you can consider, but I tell people that you need to weigh the prevailing economic situation before asking such questions and look at performance of your company. Is the company doing very well? Are you giving them the right inputs? If you are doing those, then I think you have genuine concerns of asking for a raise, and that can be done through your HR basically. So there's nothing that beats that. It's just that you have to be at the right place at the right time doing those kind of questions.
I think I have a slightly different opinion, not really different. So I believe what matters is value. So it depends on what value you're bringing to the organization in the first place. I would say if you want a raise and you can prove to your company that you are competent and capable enough to make them more money. See, anybody would jump at the idea that you would make me more money. So it's not necessarily for myself. It is how can I help the organization help me? So if I believe I have the skills to help the organization increase its own earning capacity, then it doesn't matter in a recession. There are people in recessions that actually get paid more because they're solving a challenge that other people can't solve. So it depends on value, depends on what you're putting on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I was trying to finalize is that you can't basically when you ask for a raise, you must actually be valuable. You can't just be like the staff that is just on the table and not putting much input. So there must be value being seen. But that said, you need to understand that there are also other conditions you need to look at. You need to look at the industry you're in, particularly in. You know that, for example, so many jobs were lost in COVID-19, and some firms are tightening their operational costs. And you can see that in banks, especially in tier 2 banks, reducing number of staff. So yes, I agree with Lawretta that the fact that if you have value, regardless of the prevailing situation, but sometimes it's always wise to also take into the shoes of the employers.
No, sorry. Adding again, not just value. What I'm saying is, if I believe I can increase how much the company is earning, I will go with that offer, and on the basis of that offer, get that as an increase in my own pay. So I'm not just saying go and say I want a raise because I'm valuable. I'm saying you're asking for the best way to get a raise. The best way is to give them an offer they cannot refuse, which is helping them make more money based on some idea you have or something. So you need to think, deeper, given the current situations. But yeah, we don't necessarily.
All right, I do. Interesting conversation and debate here on salary raise, and I think that they're both correct. It's not a straight jacket. There are different things that you've got to consider when you want to go for a raise, and everything they said here, it's correct. So what value do you bring? The economic situation, even you can be in a bad economy and then the company is actually doing well, right? So that means that even how the company is doing also matters. So different things, but as an individual, there's also another twist I do, and the twist here is that you could also look at look inwards and say, okay, like what else can I do to get additional income for myself, right? Are there other investments that I can make? Are there other things that I can do to get money by the side? We always talk about side hustles here on Nairametrics a lot. So are there side hustles that I can do that can earn me some good money? And then, like Lawretta says, can I maybe go to my organization and say, look, you know what? Here's something extra that I can do. If I do this extra outside of my regular job, can it get me an additional income? So those are all the things. You've got to be able to look inward as well. And then when you look inwards, definitely you'd always find a way to augment your money. Because at the end of the day, what is your objective? Your objective is to get a higher pay, is to get a higher income. That's it, really. So, and higher income would either come from your organization, another organization, or from something else that you do. Tell me, how do you think? How do you raise money, or how do you ask for higher income?
It's a side hustle. I just go for the low hanging fruit and just work on other things that would probably bring in extra income on the side. Not of course, reducing my commitment to my primary work, but I just create more streams of income. Okay. One last question real quick before we wrap things up and Ugodre just draws the curtain for us. This is from a person named Lanray. The person is asking, says, please, Moneyman, is Chaka being allowed to operate in Nigerian stock market by the SEC now? Person says, because I heard they were suspended some time back.
Olumide, that should be your area.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk. Yeah, before I go ahead. I don't
change there.
Okay.
Has
yeah,
it?
Basically, what really happened was, like you said, Chaka was suspended from making adverts about, because they don't have a regulatory license selling stocks, and the SEC sent a circular some weeks back, and I think there was some back and forth towards that. So the narrative is that the SEC is saying that you don't have any dealings wherever a platform you are if you don't have any regulatory license. So I advise listeners to definitely just go to, there are so many regulated platforms you can choose, online and physical. So there's no to that. So the narrative is still the same. There's no update, or there's no change in status quo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olumide. And as we begin to coast home, Ugodre, would you like to just share a little bit on, just some things that Nairametrics has and other things that you might want the listeners to know?
Well, yeah, I do. Thanks again. So as usual, always check up, on this program. We do this every Wednesday, 7:30 to 8 a.m. We're going to be bringing you a lot of interesting conversations, a lot of exciting partnerships. You're going to be seeing a lot of people, a lot of businesses partner with us on this program just to ensure that we bring you the best of content, anything that would basically help you grow your investments and grow your income. So that's basically what we do: personal finance, financial literacy. That's our area. So stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting period. There's also, lots to get, visiting our website. Watch out for our webinars. Watch out for our reports. Watch out for our commentary. We are also going to be on Clubhouse very soon. We are working on that. I don't know if you had a Clubhouse here. So there's going to be a Nairametrics Clubhouse, channel as well, where occasionally I'll come in there and drop some nuggets, and then also have a few of my very professional friends come in as well and drop nuggets. So interesting stuff, and some of those nuggets are going to have them here on the show as well. So that is it for this week. Adu, signing off.
Thank you very much, Ugodre. To have a wonderful rest of the day.
Yeah, one thing.